Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Finn Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Movino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Finn Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Finn Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just loading up.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Woo! Michael, good morning. Aqua, good morning. Bonnie, good morning. Timothy, good morning. Dean, good morning. Got me this weekend, fantasy football, Dean, you son of a gun. Jose, good morning. Trade deadline rapidly approaching today, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Who else will the Miami Dolphins make a move on? We got off just yesterday, and Jaylen Phillips was traded right after. Got a third-round pick for Jaylen Phillips. That's more than I thought we were going to get for him. I'm sad to see Jaylen Phillips go. Sad day. You know what I mean? Like you want to see players that we draft that we've cheered for the early portion of their careers. And you want to see these guys be Dolphins. You know what I mean? Jaylen Phillips had great potential. He had great potential. He looked the part. But to say that Jaylen Phillips wasn't a letdown while he was in Miami, I mean, he was. He's never recorded 10 sacks in a season. The last 2 years, he has not finished the season. He's been hurt. Just never lived up to that first-round draft pick hype. He's got all the talent in the world. He's built like a Greek god, but never lived up to that first-round draft pick status. And it's sad to see him go regardless. It's still sad to see him go. You hoped everything could work itself out. Maybe we could retain him on a team-friendly deal. But that's the nature of the business. If you're not going to produce, you're going to be traded. You know, you can't give someone a huge contract if you don't produce. And Jaylen Phillips is going to want big money. Pass rushers are commodity, a hot commodity around the NFL. So a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who are very close to running it back for another world championship, another Super Bowl championship, adding a piece with Jaylen Phillips upside makes sense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I think this will be a rental piece for the Philadelphia Eagles. Do I think they sign him long term? No. Is there a possibility that he ends up getting signed there long term? Maybe. It depends on how the rest of the season goes. But I see this as a rental piece for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're able to get a third round draft pick out the deal. And hey, chances are this is a super long shot, but Jaylen Phillips will be a free agent at the end of the year. Maybe we reach out to him and give him some kind of contract offer and bring him back home. That's a huge long shot, but we shall see. We shall see. Dolphins had to give Eagles $5 million to get a third round pick instead of a fourth round pick. Hey, I mean that if you're a draft guy and you feel like the Miami that third round draft pick is significantly better than a fourth, then it's not a bad deal. You know what I mean? It's not a bad deal. Eagles Uncensored said, I agree with C. He is a happier rental at best unless this kid comes out and goes insane. Well, Eagles Uncensored, he has the opportunity to do that. Jaylen Phillips has been very good this year. He's just not been able to finish the play off. He just has not been able to bring the quarterback down, but he's getting to the quarterback at a high rate. He's got one of the highest percentage of putting pressure on the quarterback in the whole league. So if he can just finish for the Eagles, that will be a huge boost for that defense over there. I know I seen the interview when Jaylen got off the plane in Philadelphia, and it killed me to hear him say at the end of the interview, "Go Birds." That was rough. That was rough. Like I said, Jaylen Phillips, if I had to rank him as far as my favorite Dolphins, he was probably in that top 5, top 7 range. He was a fan favorite. You wanted that guy to do good. You cheered for Jaylen Phillips. I think a lot of the Dolphins fans out there would say that Jaylen Phillips was in their top 5 to top 10 favorite Dolphins. And is that a top 10 Dolphins on a 53-man roster? Is that impressive? But we all have our favorites, and I feel like Jaylen Phillips was a favorite among Dolphins fans. Chill out, Anthony. Give me a second. Give me a chance to get into it before we go. Let me muster off my spiel about Lane Kiffin before we ask questions. Sorry, I'm testing. My phone is readily making me look illiterate right now. No problem, brother. No problem. So the Miami Dolphins have a lot of things to answer still. Obviously we got to get through the rest of the day. We still have a few names that could be traded before the 4 p.m. deadline. Whatever we can do to help build this team in the future, I think that's what we should do. You know what I mean? If we can get future draft assets to help build this team, I'm for it. Now, I'm not willing to trade away everything that we have for minimal draft compensation. You know what I mean? You got to come correct. I'm not going to make trades just to make trades. I'm not going to undersell the talent on this football team. If you want Jaylen Waddle, you're going to have to come correct. You're going to have to make it worth. You're going to have to make it worth the Miami Dolphins' time to move Jaylen Waddle. Jaylen Waddle, do I see him as a number 1 receiver as far as Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, that type of player? No, I don't think he's that type of player. But I think Jaylen Waddle is absolutely a valuable asset, a number 2 weapon that can be a huge part of a successful offense. And you just don't give that type of player away. Would I take a second round for Jaylen Waddle? I probably would take a second. I'd probably take a second for Jaylen Waddle because I think you can get a quarter. I think you can get a wide receiver with the same skill set, the same upside as a Jaylen Waddle in the second round. Yet you don't have to pay him. And yeah, he's got a pretty friendly team deal, but he still makes a boatload of money. He still makes a boatload of money. So if we can get cheaper, you know what I mean? I'm cool with it. As far as Devon Achane, I don't think we're going to get what he brings to this football team. I don't think, running backs are not, they're not appreciated the way they should be. So I don't think anybody's going to give us more than a third round pick for Devon Achane, and that's not enough for me. That's not enough. Devon Achane is a weapon for this team. He's still super young. Yeah, he's undersized, so you gotta take into the account injury, the risk of injury to an undersized back. The amount of volume that he has also adds to the injury risk. But I'm not giving Devon Achane up for a third round draft pick. I'm just not doing it. There's no way that I'm moving off him for a third rounder. Mike Jones, what up, brother? Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, do all that fancy stuff to help the channel grow. So the main guys that I would like to see traded, I want to see Chubb traded. There's little to zero chance that we bring Chubb back after this year. Go and get something for him. A fourth, a fifth, that would be great. I'd be super happy about that. Matthew Judon, he's not going to be here after this year. If somehow you could get something for him. I don't know how injured Rasul Douglas is right now, but I would try to move on from Rasul Douglas. I think you should try to move on from Rasul Douglas. Listen, Rasul Douglas has been great for us this year, but he's not coming back next year. He's not going to be back here next year. He's not a player that's going to be back here next year. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I would see what you could get with him. Minkah's not happy here. Fitzpatrick's not happy here. So I think it would be smart to try to see what you can get for, if a player's not happy, they're not happy. Zach Sealer, another person that I would, Zach Sealer's only going to get older. I was against giving him the new contract. But yeah, that's the few names that I have on the list. I don't know if there's anybody else really that, maybe a Jordan Brooks, but I think Jordan Brooks is young enough that he can still be a contributor for this defense. He's someone that can help with the rebuild. I wouldn't necessarily move on from Jordan Brooks, but if the price is right, the price is right. And Bonnie, that's true. Who is happy here right now? I just don't think Fitzpatrick was ever happy being a Miami Dolphin. I don't think he was ever happy being a Miami Dolphin. And I know that, it was a different coaching staff and he had his real gripes with Brian Flores, but I just think he has ill will towards this franchise. And I don't think that's ever going to change. Octane says, I'm only enamored with four Finns. Achane, Waddle, Brewer, Paul, maybe Ali. Well, you gotta. There's no way that you don't add Jordan Phillips to that list, Kenneth Grant to that list, and Jonas Abayaniya. And I would even say maybe Dante Trader. These are all young guys that are gonna improve, that are improving before our eyes. Now, are their numbers or their gameplay jumping off the screen at us? No, not yet. But give them some time. These guys are still rookies. Give them time. Give them some time. But besides the trade deadline, what do we have to look forward to? Well, obviously, we got to find a general manager. We got to find a general manager. If I am the Miami Dolphins, I am looking to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm looking to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm looking to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm looking to the Rams, to the 49ers, to franchises like that are consistently some of the best teams in the NFL. And I'm going to see what they have available in their upper management, that if there's people in place that have helped contribute to the success of those franchises. I don't want a guy that's just, carries a notebook and, doesn't do much as far as the building of the football team. I want someone that has their hands in deep and actually is an asset to those franchises in building those football teams. I want someone that has their hands in the kitchen cooking, not someone that's just taking orders. I want someone that's a true asset to the Philadelphia Eagles that has helped Howie Grossman build that football team. That's the type of person I want. That's the type of person I want. And then, of course, you got the head coach. You got to find a head coach. There's a few different people. This isn't the only one that we're gonna discuss. This is just one that popped in mind. And I got to give credit to, obviously us as podcasters, we get a lot of our information from other sources. You know what I mean? We're not 10 toes on the ground in the facility, this, that, and the third. So I got to give a shout out to Colin Cowherd. I can't really stand the guy, to be honest, but listening to him, he made sense. And a name that he had shot out there was Lane Kiffin as the next Miami Dolphins head coach. Now, Lane Kiffin, he's got a lengthy coaching history, even though he's not super old. He worked for the USC Trojans. He was assistant coach there during the Reggie Bush years, offensive coordinator and stuff there. Let's take a look at his coaching history. He was the youngest head coach at the time for the Oakland Raiders. That was his first head coaching job. That did not turn out well. But that was almost 20 years ago. He was 31 years old. It was 2007. That was almost 20 years ago. So you can't use that against him. They missed out on, they drafted Jamarcus Russell, that he was one of the NFL's all-time bust at quarterback. Just a bad situation in Oakland. He departed the Raiders in 2008 after being fired by Al Davis. Went back to college, coached the Tennessee Volunteers, was successful there. Went back to USC, became the head coach there. Went back to the Alabama to work with Nick Saban. Left there to take the head coaching job for Florida Atlantic. And then currently with the Ole Miss Rebels. So it's got a crazy history, especially in the SEC. But I'm going to tell you why I feel like Lane Kiffin could be a real option for the Miami Dolphins. Jose says we need Saban. Miller says I want Tom Brady. But this is why I think Lane Kiffin would be at. an exceptional coach, an exceptional option for the Miami Dolphins at quarterback. Eric, what's up? First off, the Miami Dolphins, what they're lacking right now is culture. They're lacking culture. Lane Kiffin is an alpha male. Lane Kiffin is an alpha male. Bottom line. He's a man's man. Lane Kiffin's a man's man. He ain't going to take shit. You're going to do the things that Lane Kiffin wants you to do, and you're going to do them the way he wants them done. Man's man. A guy that can instantly come in the building and change the culture. Can instantly come in the building and change the culture. What's the Miami Dolphins' biggest need on this team? We need a quarterback. Lane Kiffin played the position. Lane Kiffin played the position. 3 or 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks coming out in what's supposed to be a pretty good quarterback draft this year. 3 or 4 of them are from the SEC. What's that mean? It means that Lane Kiffin has either recruited these guys, played against these guys, watched tape on these guys. Nobody knows these quarterbacks coming out the SEC better than Lane Kiffin. He knows if these quarterbacks are good. He knows what these quarterbacks are about. He's literally watched more film on these guys than probably anybody. He's recruiting them to Ole Miss. He knows these guys in and out. So I would trust Lane Kiffin's ability at drafting the next quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. I would trust his opinion. Lane Kiffin is probably the best offensive coach in college football. So what's that mean? It means that we get all the innovation that Mike McDaniel brings to the Miami Dolphins. We get all the fancy play calling, the great offense that we get with Mike McDaniel. We get that with Lane Kiffin, plus Lane Kiffin's that alpha who's not going to be a clown like Mike McDaniel is. Mike McDaniel's a clown. And again, I'm not saying Lane Kiffin is going to be the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I'm not saying. These are options. You got to explore options. And I think Lane Kiffin would be a viable option. You do not agree that Mike McDaniel's a clownish dude? Half the time, you don't even know what he's saying. He tries to play mind games and mind fuck you constantly. Why can't you just spit out? Why can't you just spit out what's on your mind, what you're trying to say, instead of trying to be the smartest guy in the room all the time? The Miami Dolphins need a coach that has a chip on his shoulder, a coach that has an attitude with him. Lane Kiffin is that dude. Like I said, the Miami Dolphins got a smart guy in the building. They just don't got the guy that is an alpha. And with Lane Kiffin, he gives you both those things. So if you mix the fact that Lane Kiffin is an alpha, he's an offensive innovator, and the fact that he knows the position of need, the quarterback position for the Miami Dolphins, he knows the quarterbacks coming out better than probably anybody. Those are key contributors to why I would think that he would be the right hire for the Miami Dolphins to be their coach going forward. You need an alpha quarterback as well. Well, I think Lane Kiffin would choose someone in his image. You know what I mean? Big C, I thought this was all Greer's fault. I'm not saying I'm not saying that mostly it isn't Greer's fault, but Mike McDaniel definitely has something to do with it. Obviously, Chris Greer is the one that put the team together. He's responsible for drafting. He's responsible for this, that, and the third. Mike McDaniel wasn't even here when we drafted Tua. But you can't act like Mike McDaniel's way of coaching hasn't been a problem. Now, I still think there's probably a 25% chance that Mike McDaniel is the head coach next year. It just makes sense with Tua's contract. Unless you're going to try to go the Denver Broncos route and just, eat the contract like they did Russell Wilson. There's a good chance that Tua Tagovailoa is the coach here next year. Stephen Ross loves Mike McDaniel. There's a chance that Mike McDaniel's the head coach here next year. 25%. But I think that Lane Kiffin is a viable option. Now, there's other coaches out there. Yeah, they throw out the names. Bill Belichick. There's zero chance that Bill Belichick is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I'm sure Lane Kiffin's got plenty of coaching connections. Like, what are we talking about? He's coached for Alabama. He's coached for Tennessee. He coached with the Raiders. I mean, he's coached against these guys. I'm sure he's got relationships with, you know what I mean? Urban Meyer's one of his best friends. And there's other names out there. Eric Kingsbury's, of course, going to be one of the hot names. You got the Buffalo offensive coordinator who's a hot name. There's going to be a lot of other names, and I hope that the Miami Dolphins do their due diligence when selecting the next quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. I mean, Kurt Warner's not gonna get in the coaching. I doubt Kurt Warner gets in the coaching. You put your list together. People are going to yell Bill Belichick. There is zero chance Bill Belichick comes to the Miami Dolphins. Zero chance. There's zero chance that the Miami Dolphins hire Bill Belichick to come in here and break Don Shula's record. Zero chance. Zero chance of that happening. Should I coach the Titans or the Dolphins? I think the Dolphins are going to be the more attractive options. Yeah, the Titans got Cam Ward, but a new head coach is going to be able to come in and have a say on who his next quarterback is going to be. Urban Meyer was a huge fail for Jacksonville. Yeah, there's lots of coaches that fail. Nothing is 100%, right? Nothing is 100%. If the Texans fire D'Amico Ryan's not getting fired. D'Amico Ryan's not getting fired. McDaniel's not getting demoted and staying. That's not happening. I doubt D'Amico Ryan gets fired, though. I think he's a really good head coach. I mean, if I had my number one choice, if I had a real choice and I could just hire anybody I wanted, I so wish that we could get Andy Reid. I so wish we could get Andy Reid. If there was one coach I'd want, it'd be Andy Reid. But that's never going to happen. You stop it, Ken. What is Kyler Murray doing for you? That you know what I mean? What's Kyler Murray doing for you? Bruce Arians, yeah, that name's been mentioned a few times. Bruce Arians would be a decent option. I think Bruce Arians would be a decent option. Listen, I'm not worried about the quarterback moving around. I'm worrying about building this team the correct way. If we build a good offensive line, we don't need a quarterback that can run a million miles per hour. I'd trade Tua for someone's leftover Halloween candy. Again, that's not a. You can say these made up scenarios, but are we talking a game of Madden here? Or are we talking realistically? Because realistically, that trade's never happening. So I mean, we can do fantasy predictions, I guess. I just hope that Stephen Ross does the right thing. I hope he hires a real football guy as general manager, not someone that is good with money. Not someone that's strictly good with money, not strictly one of his financial advisors that knows how to run the team from a financial aspect. I want him to hire a football guy. We got 3/3. Swap Tua for. That's not happening, bro. What would make you think that the Arizona Cardinals are doing that regardless? Sure, you can say what sounds good for the Dolphins, but it's got to make sense for the other side. Zero chance. Marcos, what's up? Makes zero sense. This organization isn't good enough for a 2-year rebuild. It's looking like 2029. Yeah, I mean, if you think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how long this rebuild. It depends on who you put in place to build this football team. Chris Shula is another very intelligent hire, I would feel. Chris Shula, obviously the namesake, right? But he's been a very successful defensive coordinator for the Rams. He's gotten to learn under Sean McVay. Kyler Murray will not be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. 0% chance. If Kyler Murray becomes the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, I'll hang up the podcast. I'm that confident that Kyler Murray will never be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. I don't know why people are so thirsty to have a below average quarterback come here because he can run. You build an offensive line, you ain't got to run. Weaver, I wouldn't trust him with, I wouldn't trust him with my stepkids. And I don't even got stepkids. Miller, just stop. Let's talk about stuff that can help the team, not mystery stuff. That stuff's it's not happening. In today's game, you need to have athleticism. Yeah, Kyler is about to lose his job to Brissett. Jacoby Brissett. He's so athletic, right? It's a hurt. It's a. I hope we shop Waddle, Fitzpatrick, Chubb, Judon, and Achan. Joe want to shop everything, brother. Tua needs to get benched for Quinn Ewers. Listen, Quinn Ewers is not the guy. I mean, if you want to give him some snaps at the end of the year, Quinn Ewers ain't the answer. Quinn Ewers ain't the answer at quarterback. Joe says, fire sale this bitch. Hey, I can't say that I'm against it. Only person worth keeping on roster is Patrick Paul. I don't agree with that. I think Patrick Paul is probably our most valuable asset right now. But again, Kenneth Grant, Jonah, Jordan Phillips, Dante Trader, these are all going to be good players. I truly believe that. I truly believe these guys are going to be good players. You just got to give them some time. Patience is a virtue. Would you use them third round picks on corners, bring competition at that position? Listen, anything's on the table. I wouldn't limit myself to one position. I would strictly take, there's so many holes on this football team, best player available. We're not one position away from competing. We're not one position away from competing. I would take best player available. Best player available. Oh, Reddick says Minka's in talks with the Cowboys. Oh, the Cowboys are cooked. We have zero corners. Yeah, we do have zero corners. But again, who cares? Who cares? If we're gonna have a bad team next year and we're gonna lose football games, I'm not worried about the corner position necessarily. And I'm not saying don't give Quinn Ewers some run. I'm not saying don't give him some run. I just lower your expectations for Quinn Ewers. He's give Quinn Ewers a game or two at the end of the season. See what he can do. We don't play Juju. I don't know why my man's not getting. Yeah, I don't understand why Juju Brents isn't getting any run neither. I don't get it neither. But again, you can evaluate. You should evaluate all the pieces on this team. But you got to understand, Mike McDaniel is still trying to keep his job. You got to understand, Mike McDaniel is still trying to keep his job. And the only way that he has a real shot at keeping his job is being competitive and hopefully winning some games to end the season. Can the head, you gotta understand though that with keeping Mike McDaniel around, Mike McDaniel's trying to keep his job. Even if you were to fire Mike McDaniel, the interim head coach is trying to win football games because he wants to get the job. You know what I mean? Unless Stephen Ross comes to Mike McDaniel and says, "Hey, listen, let's evaluate this roster top to bottom. You're safe for next year." It don't make sense for Mike McDaniel to give Quinn Ewers run with the offense. It don't make sense. If he wants to keep his job, he'll benching Tua. If you believe benching Tua is the smart thing for Mike McDaniel to keep his job, you're sadly mistaken. Tua gives this team the best chance to win. If you don't believe that, then you're just flat wrong. And I don't like to say people are wrong about stuff, but Tua Tagovailoa gives you the best chance at winning. So again, unless Stephen Ross tells Mike McDaniel he's safe, or Tua comes out and just is absolutely horrible. And I know he hasn't been great this year, but he's going to have to be a lot worse than what he has been to get Quinn Ewers in the game on a consistent basis. I'm definitely mad about the season. I didn't expect to be where we are right now. I really didn't. Shake Money, what up? What up, big dog? My boy Shake got a wine channel coming out here soon. Check in him for the details with that. But he's got a new show, a new wine channel coming out. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't expect it. No, wine, like drinking wine. I thought for sure that, I thought our front seven on the defensive side of the ball was going to be better than what it was. I didn't expect James Daniels to be out for the first 11 games of the season. I didn't think Austin Jackson was going to be out for the first 11 games of the season. I didn't expect for Tyreek to get hurt. So I definitely didn't expect this. I thought that we'd compete for the playoffs. I really did. I thought we'd be on the border of competing for a playoff spot. So this year I am pissed off about. I am pissed. I am upset. Yeah, I mean, if we get enough people that want to do a live after, I go live tonight with Mike Jones. We do the Laces Out live tonight. Like 7:30. So we'll talk about all the trade stuff then. We'll give you guys a chance to come on and talk. But yeah, there's a bunch of names. If you guys got certain names that you want to come on and give your reason why they should be the next head coach, or general managers you think that should be the next general manager of the Dolphins, get your list together, get your argument ready, and come on the show and tell the people why. You can go and watch the TDs and the Dougs and the, whoever else you want to watch. This channel, I give you guys the opportunity to voice your opinion more so than any other channel. And you don't got to give me $5 to do it. I try to give you guys the voice that the Dolphins community needs. So anytime you guys want to come on and give your opinion or tell your side of the story or how you feel as a Dolphin fan, I try to give that to you. But yeah, who else will be traded? Trade deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern. Lane Kiffin was the first name that I came up with. There will be more, obviously. I want us to bring in each and every coach that we possibly can. I want to get this right. If you get the front office right, if you get the general manager right, if you get the head coach right, everything else will fall into place. Everything else will fall into place. Chris Shula, I like that name too. Joe had mentioned that name also. Chris Shula is obviously Grandpa was Dolphin legend, NFL royalty. Great option. We're going to discuss him. If Joe or Shake, you guys want to put your list of reasons why Chris Shula should be the next Dolphins head coach, y'all are more than welcome to come on the show and tell the people why Chris Shula is the answer. But if we can get the general manager job right, if we can get the head coach job right, everything else will fall into place. These two positions are the most important positions that need to be filled. This is who builds your football team. This is who gives your football team identity, character. It comes from the very top. And if these two guys can come together and find you the quarterback of the future, those three people can take you into the next 15 to 20 years of Dolphins football. And hopefully they can be more successful than the last 25 years have been. Because I don't know about you. I don't got another 25 years in me. I don't got another 25 years in me. And I definitely don't got another 25 years of bad football in me. So we need to get this right. We need to get this job right. We need to get these hires right. These are the most important hires in the history of the Miami Dolphins. These are literally the two most important hires in the history of the Miami Dolphins, in their history, in this team's history. Because we had success before, this 25-year stint. But if we don't get these two, if we don't get the head coach right this time, if we don't get the general manager job right this time, this could lead us to the next 10, 15 years of terrible Dolphins football. And that'll be devastating for this franchise. My bad, guys. I apologize. But yeah, we'll be back. Me and Mike Jones tonight. Laces Out Live. I gotta let this thing get charged. But I do apologize about that. But yeah, if you guys got a list of names that you want to talk about as far as Dolphins head coach or Dolphins general manager, or you got a list of shows that you want me to do where you guys want to come on and talk, I'm all for it. But make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, comment, share, hit your notifications so you know when we go live. But I appreciate y'all. I'll try to give you guys the chance to come on and let your voices be heard. I take great pride in that. I've said that a million times. It's a channel for you guys to voice your opinions about your football team. But I'll see y'all later. Me and Mike Jones, probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. Laces Out Live. We'll break down the trade deadline. Until then, you know what it is. Fins up. Peace.
Yo. Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. You know the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.